completely open.
Peace hasn't held on all fronts, though, already, with Israel striking a southern Lebanon village just hours ago. Professor Robert Patman is an international relations expert at the University of Otago, and he is with us with his assessment this morning. That's a bad sign to get started with, or is this an indication that because Israel wasn't really at the table, it's going to be difficult to bring them on the ride to peace?
Good morning, Nadine. I think the Lebanese situation is a potential fly in the ointment. We know that a memorandum of understanding has been signed electronically, and there will be an in-person signing in Geneva on Friday. But it seems to me that it's more of a breathing space agreement than anything else, because there's already indications that the Iranian and the American interpretations of the memorandum of understanding is completely different. And the episode that you referred to, the continued incursion into Lebanon, Israel occupies about 20% of Lebanon, and the Israelis have confirmed in the last 24 hours that they have no intention of relaxing their efforts, as they would see it, to achieve security in southern Lebanon. So, and it's no secret that the president is extremely frustrated. Now, why is this a problem? Because according to the memorandum of understanding, what we understand it to be, we haven't seen the details yet, they haven't been published, but we understand that Lebanon is included as part of this agreement. So the Iranians may well be dragging their feet if the violence in southern Lebanon doesn't cease soon.
Is it fair, though, that Israel would be frustrated by that? Because obviously they see Lebanon as a threat. If funds then flow back to Iran because of the peace deal, then that may flow through to the rebels, and so therefore they feel threatened.
Well, at the moment, Israel denies the right of political self-determination to the Palestinians, and is seeking to militarily confront those they believe are endangering its security. One of those groups is Hezbollah, which is supported by Iran, an ally of Iran in Lebanon. And at some point, the Israeli government, I think, has to look beyond purely military solutions to what are political problems. Groups like Hezbollah will continue to resist Israel as they see it. That is, sending rockets into northern Israel from Lebanon, while they can continue to exploit the grievance that the Palestinians have territories which are unlawfully occupied, according to the National Court of Justice. The Israelis have said that they will be annexing the West Bank in 2026, something Mr. Trump is opposed to. So these sort of issues can be mobilized and utilized by groups like Hezbollah and, of course, Hamas. So there is a challenge here for the Israeli government. Mr. Netanyahu at the moment seems to have a reasonable amount of support for his efforts in Lebanon, but you have to ask, how long can this continue? This continued use of military, ever greater applications of military power to deal with a political problem. And unfortunately, this has bolstered Iran. I mean, I was just reflecting on the comments by your previous speaker, and I think she's right. In a sense, the regime in Iran may be even stronger as a result of these attacks by the US and Israel, which started on the February of this year. And that must be sobering. Israel now has leverage over the Strait of Hormuz and has obviously strained the relations because of its retaliation against the Gulf states. It's driven a bit of a wedge between the Gulf states and the United States. And that is something that strategically is important.
What about on the nuclear front? Has the US done enough to neutralise that as a threat? I mean, I saw Trump saying Iran doesn't even want nuclear weapons anymore. I mean, are we to believe that?
Well, Iran has always been Iran's consistent position. It was the position when they signed the Iran nuclear deal with the Obama administration. And let's be quite clear about this. The Trump administration unilaterally walked away from that agreement, which effectively forestalled the development of Iranian nuclear weapons. Iran, however, does want the right to develop nuclear energy for peaceful purposes. So I do think the Iranians have probably gone further in their discussions with the Trump administration via the mediators in Pakistan in pledging not to have a nuclear weapon. That was always their position before. But again, the devil's going to be in the detail. I'm not sure the Iranians will be keen on some of the conditions that Mr. Trump may want to impose on their nuclear energy program. But you know, this is at the moment, this deal or this memorandum of understanding looks quite shaky to me. Mr. Trump is clearly very keen to get the nuclear aspect sorted, and I think that may be the least problematic, actually, of some of the other issues involved.
Is it fair to say that they've kind of kicked the can down the road of the really gnarly issues, and that this memorandum of understanding could still fall apart when we get to those hurdles?
It's possible, yes, but you have to look at this in terms of the pressures of everyday politics. Mr. Trump is under enormous pressure domestically now. He's got the midterms coming up. He's also under pressure from lots of other countries in the world, because these attacks by the United States and Israel, which are illegal in terms of international law, a flagrant violation of international law, they've caused, by triggering the Iranian retaliation, they've caused a global economic crisis. And that in turn has affected countries like New Zealand, which had nothing to do with the initiation of these hostilities. So the consequences haven't been confined to Israel and the United States. The consequences have been global. And Mr. Trump is aware of that. And of course, gasoline prices have risen in the United States, amongst other places. And that is a potent factor when it comes to people making up their minds about voting in the midterm. So I think Mr. Trump is desperately seeking